Are you winning listing appointments or are you just showing up? Hey everyone, Willie Miranda with the Ultimate Real Estate Success Blueprint. And I wanted to talk to you about an actual event that we did just a couple months ago. It was a listing boot camp, and we did it down at GCAR. I had a lot of area agents, local agents that came to the event. Actually, we had more agents outside of Miranda Real Estate Group than we had at our company at the event. And what we went over the 14-step listing process that I've shared with many people, not only here locally, but also across the country to my coaching members. And it's a proven system on how to get more listings and how to stay on track. And it's a proven process to convert more listings. Not only did we go over that, but I also went over my listing presentation. And over the last couple months, I've received a lot of texts from a lot of agents that have used some of that information already to successfully convert more listings. But also had a lot of agents that say, "Hey, Willie, I couldn't make it to the event. I couldn't be there. I had an appointment or I was out of town." Then I had some agents that are outside of the area that really wanted to see the information, wanted to know if it was recorded. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do a webinar on it. So tomorrow, Thursday, July 23rd at 10 a.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be having a 1 hour, that's a 1 hour webinar where I'm going to go over exactly what I went over at that event. And we're going to, again, go over the 14-step listing process and also high level on what my actual listing presentation looks like. And like I said on here, are you winning listing appointments or are you just showing up? And unfortunately, I see it more and more that a lot of agents just kind of wing it. And that's not really where you want to be, especially in this competitive market that we have right now of getting listings. So I took some notes down and I thought it'd be good to really explain to you exactly what the webinar is going to be all about, right? And what is it? And basically, what is it? It's a proven listing presentation system that you can use from showing up the front door to, at the end asking for the actual listing. And it's something that has to be earned, and it has to be something that is prepared, and it has to be something that's really put together in a proper way in order to get the expectation, the conversions that you want. So what is it not? It's not a fancy CMA. It's not a package of information that you just send to them. It's an actual structured sales process of, again, the system and also the steps that are involved to walk an actual customer and give that customer that experience of what you're bringing to the table. The listing presentation should answer every question ahead of time before the seller even asks it. Actually going through and actually setting up what your marketing looks like. What's the pricing look like? What's it going to look like, the timeline of from when we take the listing until we close on the home? What are all the little things that we need to expect at the listing? So it's going to be going over that. And our 14-step listing process is just that. It's a roadmap. It's a roadmap, and it's something that's going to walk you through the entire process. And something I put on here: the best agents don't just wing it; they follow a proven process, right? And I do see a lot of that, like I mentioned before, where you just have agents just showing up, coming in late, showing up with just a yellow pad of paper, and not really following a true process. Okay, so that's number one. By the way, the link for the registration for the webinar is down below. In case I forget, want to make sure you guys see that. You can see that williemirandacoaching.com/listing hyphen bootcamp hyphen page. So you'll see the link there at the bottom, but go ahead and sign up on that if you'd like to attend. Number two on here, why is it important? And I think that listings is the foundation of the real estate business, right? I remember when I first started 28 years ago, I remember agents would say, you have to list homes in order to last in the business, right? You have to list to last. And it's so true. It's such a huge foundation to the real estate market, especially now we're in such a competitive, here in upstate New York, we're in such a highly competitive listing, very low inventory listing environment, that it's so important that you show up prepared. The better listing presentation, the better conversion is going to be, right? Like if you don't have a listing presentation, you're just winging it. So the better the presentation, the better that your conversion rate will be. And that's where your confidence is going to come from, right? Your confidence is always going to come from being more prepared. You're going to be practicing it. So it's going to be consistent in your mind, and it's going to be a nice steady flow that gives that seller a great experience of what it would be to work with you. And, sellers can tell a lot of times. They can tell if you're just showing up and winging it, or if you're well prepared, right? And they're going to know that very quickly. So you want to make sure that you're prepared. And that's why investing an hour of your time here tomorrow on Thursday is going to be well worth it, because you're going to be able to see, and you may already have a great listing presentation. That's great. But maybe there's some things that you could pick up on here to be a little bit more efficient, or to tweak a couple things that you may not be using that will help you. People don't just hire the agent who knows the most. They hire the agent who gives them the most confidence. And that is so true. And I just heard that yesterday from another agent, that someone was listing a property, and they just wanted more information, and that agent wasn't able to provide it. And it's probably because that agent didn't have a good, solid listing presentation prepared for them up front. Who's involved? That's the number 3 point that I wrote on here. Who's involved? Every real estate agent is involved, right? Whether you're a new agent, maybe brand new into the business, or maybe just did 5 deals, or maybe you're an experienced agent that's done 500 deals. It doesn't matter. But every agent should have a proven listing presentation. And experienced agents know that, the ones that are successful anyways, know that the consistency is what makes them successful. By having that proven process is what puts them over the top. So we want to make sure that you guys are prepared for that. Team leaders, if you have, and broker owners, like if you have agents that are going out there representing your brand, representing your team, representing your company, you want to make sure that they're following a proven process also, where they're showing them about the marketing that you're going to be doing for them as a company or a team, or the brand that you have, and what makes you different than all the other agents that are out there. How are you preparing that, and how you're presenting that to your people? So we're going to be talking about that as well. And listen, sellers benefit, right? By having an experienced, organized presentation, they're going to benefit, because the more educated a seller is, the better that seller is going to be during the process. It's always the agents, or it's always the sellers that we presented to that an agent didn't go over the process is where we have problems, right? Like, what are you going to do to list my property? What are you doing to market my property? Why am I not getting showings? Why did someone leave the door unlocked? Why did someone leave the lights on? Like, all of these different things. Like, if you walk them through that process ahead of time, it's going to be a lot easier for you, and make it a much better experience, not only for yourself, but more importantly for your seller. So whether you've done, like I said, 5 listings or 500 listings, being prepared is always going to pay off, and you'll have better conversion rates for it. All right, how do you do it? Number 4 bullet point on here. You don't want to memorize a script. You want to master a process. You don't want to memorize a script, because it's always different, right? But if you can master a process and you have a way of doing it, now you control that interview, you control the process, and you're going to have a much better experience on the other side. You want to practice before the appointment, not on the appointment, right? Think about professional athletes, right? They don't practice on the field, right? They practice off the field, so that when they're in the game, they're at 100% capacity, right? They're at the 100% confidence level, so they go in there well prepared. But I see a lot of agents today that they actually practice at the appointment, and this is why their conversion rates are low, and this is why they lose those appointments. Role play is very important. Whether you role play with a colleague, or whether you role play with a family member, actually going through that and actually role playing. I was on a coaching call this morning at 8 a.m. With one of my agents, and we were role playing through what that listing presentation looks like, right? And you feel just a lot more confident. And again, it's a much better experience for that seller when you're meeting with them. But this is what's going to increase your conversion rates over time. Evaluates what worked for you, right? So that's another thing. How do you do this? So like going in there and going into these listing appointments. This is how I've done it. I've lost a lot of listings over the years. I've probably been on hundreds, if not thousands, of listing appointments over 28 years. And fortunately is that I've been able to adjust quickly, get the feedback from the seller. What can I have done differently? And then I change that in my process, so that the next time I go, I don't do that. I'll be sharing some examples of that with you on the call on Thursday. But these are things that you could tweak and evaluate, and doing what we call an autopsy on that appointment. If you didn't get that appointment, what could you have done different, right? So these are things that how you actually do this, and how you start with a baseline of having a presentation. And then as the years go on, or as the appointments go on, you tweak it and just make it better and better every time. And listen, our industry with technology and, all the different platforms that are out there, and all the AI and all the stuff that's out there, It's so important that you stay on top of this stuff. So you're always tweaking. There's never like something that you build today and it's just going to last you for the next 10 years. But if you start with a foundation, tweak it, it's going to make a big difference. So a key point on here that I mentioned already, professional athletes don't practice during the game. Real estate professionals shouldn't be practicing during listing appointments. And that's so true. All right, so last thing on here, just in closing comments, and again, the links to below. If you want to sign up for this webinar on Tuesday, it's going to be for about an hour. I'll try to keep it to an hour, and it's going to be from 10 a.m. Eastern to 11 a.m. Eastern, and the link's there below. You just put your name and information in there. We'll go ahead and send you a registration link so you have that. But I've seen too many agents lose listings just because they weren't prepared. They didn't have the knowledge. Some of them just didn't want to do it. They were lazy and just thought, hey, you know what? I'm an experienced person. I'm just going to walk in there and smile and I'm going to get the listing because I've sold for the last, 30 years. And that's not the case nowadays. I'm seeing more and more agents come unprepared, and I'm seeing more and more sellers be more sophisticated, and they want this. They want the information. They want to know what you're going to do to market their properties. They want to see the marketing that you're going to do for them. And they want to be able to see that in a structured way. And that's where a really good listing presentation comes into place. So I'm going to break down exactly the 14-step process. I'm going to go through my listing presentation as well. And we're going to invest, like I said, about an hour into this. And hopefully you guys walk away with really good information at the end. You apply it, you use it, you execute on it. And the only thing I ask in return is that you just send me a text and say, hey, Willie, this worked great. Or Willie, this sucked, it didn't work good. Or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But I do enjoy getting the texts and the feedback and emails of stuff that I'm able to help you guys with in your business. So one last final thought. The agents who consistently win listings aren't lucky, they're prepared. And that's something that has always stuck in my mind from coaching years ago with my coach back in 97, 98 when I started. Is that they were really big on making sure that you're prepared. And I'm going to give you the exact same listing that I give to my agents and the same training that I give to my agents so that they're prepared when they go on to these listing appointments as well. So go down to the link below, register for the event for Thursday. You'll definitely want to invest that hour. It's an investment of time. We all have to invest back into our business. This is a great way for you to do it. And we'll see you on Thursday, 10 a.m. See you there. Thank you.